Welcome to StartupHakk. My name is Spencer Thomason. I am the CEO and co-founder of CleanRouter, as well as many other products. Here are some lessons that I've learned building a successful business while challenging startup norms. My challenge is to push you to rethink startup success. I have been a software developer for over 22 years. I'm married to my beautiful wife Carson and have 5 awesome kids. I started this channel to tell the stories I have about how we started a successful company, knowing nothing about how to start a company. Clean Technology is the parent company of CleanRouter, as well as many other technologies and products. This podcast is going to focus on the launch of CleanRouter. It is going to be about how we took this idea and passion and built something great. This is going to be a story, so make sure you go and check out previous episodes to understand all of the backstory. Welcome to StartupHakk.
Welcome to StartupHakk. We're going to talk a little bit and try a little different format from here. So today I'm going to talk about 4 things that Mark Cuban said that every entrepreneur has to do in order to survive the pandemic. I think some of these are actually pretty timeless, but Mark Cuban was saying these specific to the pandemic. So we'll talk a little bit to what it takes to survive in 2021 from the pandemic and from my experience as a business owner. So the very first thing he says is to be agile. This is important, and I've talked about this before. I've talked about learn, repeat, and learn, and get into that cycle, the agile cycle. But during COVID-19, this has especially been very important because lots of businesses have had to make a lot of changes as they've gone through the pandemic, and so this is going to be especially important. For being agile, one story that I wanted to tell is about the time when we launched CleanRouter. We thought that filtering was going to be what every single parent wanted. We thought that it was all going to be about filtering, and that that was by far the most important thing. And while the filtering is important and critical, we've actually found that a lot more parents actually buy the product based on the time features. So our time restrictions, the ability to turn off the internet to the whole house remotely from their phones, all these different time controlling functions of the router are an example of something we didn't initially think would be that big of a feature, that ultimately I think we have sold more routers based off that than we have based off the filtering. So this is just one example of a way that you need to make sure that you're being agile. And also the next one, we're listening to communicate with your customers so that you can take what they give you and then make sure that you're getting back into that feedback loop and implementing it back into your products and into your business. Number 2 is you got to communicate honestly and authentically. So people don't want to hear a sob story, but if there's some changes that need to be changed with your business, then be open and honest and authentic. Even no matter which side of the coin you're on, whether you want vaccines or masks or what, just be open and authentic. Whatever side you're on for that, you will find that there's a supporting group for each side. Lastly, you have to love your product. If you don't, third, you have to love your product. If you don't love your product, then the customers aren't going to love it either. And frankly, you will have given up through the pandemic. Running a business through the pandemic has seen a lot of ups and downs to the business. It's either helped catapult your business, or it's helped, or your business has really been hammered during the pandemic. We've seen both. But then now, as we're getting more back into a little bit of reopening, some of those that the pandemic helped, it's now hurting during the reopening. So we're seeing both sides. And if you don't love your product, and if you're not making the needed changes that you have to be making, your business will not survive this. Lastly, keep up with the future. Just because we're trying to stay alive during the pandemic, you can't forget R&D, we can't forget to be innovating, and we can't forget to keep moving forward. So that means that we still need to be spending on advertising, we still need to be spending on R&D, and we still need to be continuing to work forward. So just as a repeat, the 4 things that Mark Cuban says that we have to do is be agile, communicate honestly and authentically, love your product, and keep up with the future. And as always, make sure that you're protecting your kids online with the latest CleanRouter, which version 5.0 is getting released here in the next week, which now includes a scheduling feature so that you can schedule the times that your kids can get onto YouTube or onto other sites specifically. And then also make sure that they have their CleanPhones so that they can take the same filtering with them on the go, and that you have all the ultimate parental controls. See you next time.
Welcome to StartupHakk.